Hello, my name is Kelly, and welcome to the Potomac View. The Potomac View aims to explore the most pressing issues between the United States and China. In today's episode, I will discuss the ever-growing tension in the relationship between the People's Republic of China, or Mainland China, and Taiwan. Simply put, the Chinese Communist Party believes Taiwan is a part of the government's control under China's One China policy. In 1949, when the Chinese Communist Party took control of mainland China, the nationalists were forced to relocate to Taiwan under the leadership of Chiang Kai-shek. Taiwan represented China in the United Nations up until 1971. In 1992, Taiwan and mainland agreed with the 1992 Consensus or One China principle. Mainland China, or the CCP, is the main point of contact when it comes to international negotiations, and only 14 states have diplomatic ties to the island. Nations that recognize Taiwan as an independent state risk any negotiations opportunities with the Communist Party. Democracy in China is not widely mentioned, but is implemented in Taiwan. In the United States, citizens above 18 can vote in elections and have a voice in government. That is also the case on the island. As mentioned before, the Chinese Communist Party does not facilitate true democratic participation on the mainland. All elections are a mere facade. The devotion to the democratic system in Taiwan is apparent in the voter turnout, with more than 70% participation in presidential elections. 88% of its population also agree that democracy is the best form of government despite the flaws it may have. International attention rose dramatically to the island when House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited the island on August 2, 2022. Pelosi is the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Taiwan in almost 30 years, causing many eyes to follow this historical event. Some scholars have theorized that the visit from the speaker may be the trigger for the fourth Taiwan Strait crisis. This visit did not amuse officials on the mainland, of course. The Communist Party tried to warn President Biden that China did not welcome the speaker in Taiwan. Even with threats to both Taiwan and the U.S., Beijing did not act as it said it would. From placing high alerts on military command centers to military drills, Beijing was putting on a show that had no real consequences besides attempted intimidation. Pelosi's unprecedented visit promotes democratic values and will hopefully encourage more countries to recognize Taiwan as a resilient democratic nation. Taiwan is not only a hotspot for geopolitical issues, but it is also home to one of the largest semiconductor chip manufacturers in the world. With the pandemic causing supply chain disruptions around the world, semiconductor chips couldn't keep up with the demand. As tense as Sino-Taiwanese relations are, the mainland is very reliant on Taiwanese semiconductors and cannot afford the risk of losing trade ties with the island. With Pelosi's visit, China halted some trade with Taiwan, but semiconductors were not touched. Mainland China is responsible for 10% of TSMC's revenue, while the U.S. is responsible for more than half, causing the U.S. to use caution in dealing with Taiwan as well. Taiwan has reported thousands of cyber attacks from China targeting Taiwanese government agencies daily. This is blatant interference from the mainland and Taiwan's democracy. An instance of cyber attacks includes spreading false information about candidates in an attempt to disrupt fair elections. Beijing wants to keep its control over Taiwan for as long as possible, hence the high levels of monitoring of the island in recent years. Although Beijing and Taiwan are in an agreement on the One China principle, it certainly does not mean that the two cultures are compatible under Beijing's regime. As mentioned before, China may have so-called elections, but they are by no means fair or legitimate. In Taiwan, on the other hand, elections are very popular and voices are respected in proper democratic elections. When looking at the similarities between the US and Taiwan, we're able to see the close ties and good relationship between the two. As entities that value democracy and free elections, the US and Taiwan have all the reasons to be allies. Though the US and Taiwan do not share formal diplomatic relations, the US has indicated its interest in expanding its engagements. Between the United States and Taiwan, there are very intricate economic relations that should not be interfered by China's want for total control. Although mainland Chinese entities are known for foreign investments, Taiwan has foreign investments of its own. In 2020, Taiwan invested $137 billion in the U.S., directly supporting 21,000 jobs and $1.5 billion in exports. As the Chinese government wishes Taiwan to be incorporated into the mainland under the one country, two systems, Hong Kong is the best example to demonstrate the Communist Party's crackdown on freedom and universal human rights. While the United States and Taiwan share similar values, deep commercial and economic links, and strong people-to-people ties, Beijing is intimidating Taiwan and trying to force control onto the island even when they're incompatible. Beijing has no respect for the voice of Taiwanese or its own people on the mainland. How the whole world views Taiwan will play a paramount role in reshaping the diplomatic relations between China and the United States. Once again, I am your host, Kelly. Everything that I have cited in this video will be linked below. If you would like to learn more about the most pressing issues between the United States and China, please consider subscribing to the Potomac View. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.